You ever seen a judge laugh right in a kid's face, thinking he's just some punk who wandered into court, only to realize that kids got the law memorized better than anyone in the room? That's what went down when a black teenager stepped up to save his mom from losing their home, outsmarting a smug lawyer and a biased judge who'd written him off before he opened his mouth. By the time the gavel fell, the courtroom was stunned, but it left me wondering if one kid's win could really shake a system built to keep folks like him down, or if this was just a rare spark in a world that's quick to snuff it out. My name's Tasha Green, and this is the story of how a sweaty summer day in Riverton, a beat-up town outside Mobile, turned into a battle that gave a family their home back, flipped a courtroom upside down, and made me rethink what justice looks like when it's fought for by a 17-year-old with everything to lose. I was there, just a local reporter scribbling for the Riverton Gazette, when 17-year-old Isaiah Brooks walked into that courtroom, his oversized blazer sagging on his skinny frame, a battered briefcase clutched tight. The place was packed, the air thick with whispers and the hum of old fluorescence, every eye on this black kid who looked like he'd stumbled into the wrong room. Judge Clarence Whitaker sat high on the bench, a grizzled man with a buzz cut and a stare that could freeze you solid, known for chewing up defendants and spitting them out. He smirked when Isaiah stepped up. "This ain't the rec center, son. Lost on your way to hoops?" The gallery chuckled, led by Leonard Hayes, the landlord's hotshot lawyer, whose grin said he'd already won. Isaiah didn't blink, his voice steady despite the sweat beading on his forehead. "No, Your Honor. I'm here to defend my mother." The room went quiet, like someone hit pause, and I felt my pen freeze mid-note. This kid wasn't playing, and the way he held that briefcase, like it was his lifeline, told me he'd come ready for a fight. Whitaker's smirk faded. Hayes leaned back, and I knew this wasn't just another eviction case. It was a showdown, and Isaiah was about to turn the tables on a system that thought it had him pegged. Isaiah wasn't some prodigy with a silver spoon. He grew up in Riverton's roughest corner, a maze of cracked pavement and leaning row houses where folks like his mom, Vivian Brooks, scraped by. Vivian was a single mom, cleaning offices till her hands cracked, pouring every dime into rent and Isaiah's schoolbooks, always telling him, "Learn hard, baby. That's your ticket out." Their little house, with its peeling paint and leaky sink, was more than walls. It was home, filled with her laughter and his dreams. But one day, a folded paper slid under their door, an eviction notice claiming Vivian owed back rent she swore she'd paid. She sank into a chair, hands shaking. "I paid, Isaiah. I know I did." He read the notice, his jaw tightening. "This ain't right, Mom. Something's off." Vivian sighed, her voice heavy. "People like us don't win, son. They'll take it all." Those words lit a fire in Isaiah. He saw his mom, the strongest woman he knew, crumbling, and he wasn't having it. That night, while she slept, he cracked open his laptop, diving into tenant laws, his eyes burning as he scoured legal sites, determined to save their home. He wasn't a lawyer, didn't have a degree, but he had a brain that locked onto details like a vault, and a heart that wouldn't quit. By morning, he'd told Vivian, "I'm fighting this, for you, for us." She shook her head. "You're just a boy." But he cut her off. "If I don't, who will?" Her eyes welled up, and she nodded. "Then show him what you got." That was the moment Isaiah became more than a kid. He became a warrior, and the courtroom was his battlefield. The hearing was brutal from the jump. Whitaker's jab about basketball set the tone, and Hayes piled on, leaning back with a smirk. "Tell me, kid, you learned this lawyering on YouTube? Or was it a quick Google last night?" The gallery laughed, a sharp ripple that stung. But Isaiah stood tall, his voice clear. "I learned it from the same laws you're supposed to follow, Mr. Hayes." The chuckles died, and Hayes' grin twitched, like he'd misjudged his prey. Isaiah opened his briefcase, pulling out the eviction notice. "Your Honor, this notice is a fraud." The notary, Evelyn Hart, retired 2 years before it was signed. The room murmured, heads craning to see the paper he held up. Hayes shot up. "Objection. That's absurd. Where's this kid getting these records?" Isaiah didn't flinch, sliding a document to the bailiff. "State Notary Registry, public record, Hart's retirement." May 2023, 2 years before this notice dated June 2025. Whitaker's eyebrow arched, and I saw Hayes fumble his notes, his cool slipping. Isaiah kept going. Section 58, State Tenant Protection Act. Eviction notices need a valid notary. This one's fake, making the whole process illegal. The gallery buzzed, and Vivian, sitting in the back, gripped her hands tight, her eyes shining with pride. Hayes tried to recover, voice booming. Section 45, Landlord-Tenant Act. Tenants owe rent. Period. Your mom was late, kid, so the notice doesn't matter. Isaiah stepped forward. Wrong, Mr. Hayes. Franklin versus Rhodes, 2011, says a faulty notice voids everything, no matter the payment. You know that, don't you? The room gasped. Hayes' face reddened, and Whitaker leaned in. Careful, son. You're making big claims. Isaiah met his gaze. I've got the truth, Your Honor. That's bigger. I scribbled faster, heart racing. This kid was dismantling a veteran lawyer, and the judge was listening. Hayes didn't back off. He doubled down, throwing legal jargon like grenades. Section 52 says clerical errors don't stop evictions if the tenant's delinquent. His voice was sharp, meant to rattle, but Isaiah was ready. Only with a valid notice first. State versus Harper, 2008, backs me up. A fake signature isn't a clerical error. It's fraud. Hayes' smirk vanished, his hands flipping pages in a panic, and the gallery whispered, an older woman muttering, "That boy's sharper than the lawyer." Whitaker called a recess. We'll verify this evidence. His tone neutral, but his eyes locked on Isaiah, like he was seeing him for the first time. During the break, I watched Vivian slip to Isaiah's side, whispering, "You're doing it, baby." Her voice thick with tears. He nodded, but his hands shook, the weight of every sleepless night. Poring over law books, practicing arguments in front of a cracked mirror, hitting him hard. He'd found the notary flaw late one night, cross-referencing records on a library computer, his heart pounding when he realized Evelyn Hart's signature was a lie. It wasn't just a mistake. The landlord, a shady operator named Carl Benton, was cutting corners to push out tenants like Vivian, pocketing their rent while flipping properties. Isaiah knew exposing this could save their home, but it'd also paint a target on his back. Benton had money, Hayes had clout, and Whitaker had a rep for favoring the powerful. Still, he pushed on because letting his mom lose everything wasn't an option. When court resumed, the tension was electric. Whitaker returned, glasses low on his nose, holding the verified documents. "Mr. Brooks, your evidence checks out. The notary retired in 2023. This notice is invalid." The gallery murmured, and Hayes jumped up. "Your Honor, the tenant still owed rent." Isaiah cut in, voice firm. Franklin versus Rhodes says without a valid notice, there's no case, period. Whitaker's pen tapped the desk, his face unreadable. Then he turned to Isaiah. "You've cited precedents like a seasoned attorney, but let's test you. Section 58's implications could shift landlord-tenant law statewide. How do you address potential abuse of this ruling?" My pen froze. This was a trap to trip him up, but Isaiah didn't waver. "The law's equal for everyone, Your Honor. If landlords dodge rules, they're the abusers, not tenants like my mom who pay what they owe. Closing loopholes protects the vulnerable, not the powerful." The room held its breath, an older man in the gallery whispering, "Kid's got guts." Whitaker leaned back, a faint smile breaking through. "Mr. Brooks, I've seen lawyers twice your age fumble questions like that. You've got a gift." He lifted his gavel, voice clear. "The court rules for Angela Brooks. The eviction's void, and the landlord will pay damages for fraud and distress." Vivian gasped, hands covering her face, tears spilling as she rushed to Isaiah, wrapping him in a hug. "You did it, baby. You saved us." The gallery erupted in soft applause, Hayes slumping in his chair, his notes scattered, while Benton, lurking in the back, slipped out, face pale. As the crowd thinned, Whitaker stepped down, approaching Isaiah and Vivian, his voice low. "Son, I owe you an apology. I judged you wrong when you walked in here. Let my biases cloud things. You've got courage and brains. Justice needs people like you. He extended a hand. If you're serious about law, I'd mentor you myself. Isaiah shook it, stunned. Thank you, Your Honor. That means everything. Vivian, eyes wet, squeezed his shoulder. My pride, my hope. Outside, the sun hit them like a warm embrace. Their little house waiting, no longer under threat. Isaiah paused on the courthouse steps, looking back. One day, I'll be back. Not as a kid, but a lawyer, fighting for folks like us. Vivian smiled. I know you will, baby. I watched them walk off, Isaiah's blazer still too big, but his stride sure, like he carried the whole world now. Riverton buzzed with their story. Kids at the library started cracking law books, inspired, and folks whispered about that Brooks boy who took on the system and won. But as I filed my story, Whitaker's apology stuck with me. He'd changed. Sure, but with the system? Isaiah's win saved their home, gave him a mentor. But what about the next kid facing a judge like Whitaker used to be? He's got a shot at law school now. But can one teenager really shift a machine that's been grinding folks down for years? A girl left a note at the courthouse. Isaiah fought. Keep going. That's the win, right? But is it enough? Or is another biased gavel waiting to fall? What do you think? Was Isaiah's victory a game changer? Or just a fluke? Should he take Whitaker's offer? Or fight the system his own way? Ever seen someone like him beat the odds? Drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching, share your stories. Like, subscribe, and let's keep the fight for justice loud. So you don't have to.